The Other Bennet Sister is a good show. Mary finally gets the story she deserved for 200 years. The writing is sharp, the performance is wonderful. But there's a problem, and it's not a small one. The show made a mistake, not in Mary's arc, but in what's happening in the background. And if you know these characters the way you think you do, it's going to bother you for the entire series.
Before we get into today's video, I made something. It's a Notion budget template based on Eleanor Dashwood. Every expense is either Eleanor, things you need, or Marianne, things you really can't justify but buy anyway. At the end of the month, one question: would she approve? It's called Sense and Spending. Link in the description. Okay, let's go.
Mr. Bennet dies. Longbourn goes to Mr. Collins by law. Collins and Charlotte move in. Mrs. Bennet and Mary are effectively out.
Quite clear that there's no rush for you to leave Longbourn.
Thank you, Mr. Collins.
You are quite welcome to stay here with us for a full 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
The solution the show gives us: they can come live with the Bingleys or the Darcys. Problem solved. Mary goes to London, her story begins.
You must come and stay with Mr. Bingley and I at Netherfield. We have a number of cooks and more servants than we know what to do with.
Except, wait, there's a version of this story where none of this happens, where Mrs. Bennet and Mary never lose Longbourn in the first place, where the whole crisis gets neutralized quietly, efficiently, and without anyone ever knowing who was behind it, and the show completely ignores it.
Well...
First, Lady Catherine de Bourgh. She's not in the BBC series, but she should be, because without her, Collins has no real motive to remove the Bennet women. Collins is weak and people-pleasing by nature. Left to himself, he would probably let Mrs. Bennet and Mary stay indefinitely just to avoid conflict. The person who would push him to act is Lady Catherine. She never forgave Elizabeth for marrying Darcy. For her, throwing the Bennet women out of Longbourn is a symbolic victory, proof that Darcy's marriage to someone beneath him brought nothing but disaster to his family.
This match to which you have the presumption to aspire can never take place. Mr. Darcy is engaged to my daughter.
Collins is her instrument. He does what she tells him, until someone gives him a better reason not to.
Mr. Darcy. Mr. Darcy.
Here's where it gets interesting. Darcy knows exactly what's happening, and he knows he can't confront Collins directly, because the moment he does, Lady Catherine finds out, and then it becomes a public family war. Darcy versus Lady Catherine, Pemberley versus Rosings, the kind of open conflict that damages everyone, including Elizabeth. So he does what he always does. He works through a proxy. Mr. Gardiner, Elizabeth's uncle, a London tradesman, approaches Collins with a financial offer, a substantial payment for the Bennet women's right to remain at Longbourn. Gardiner frames it as coming from the family. Collins sees money, Collins takes the money. But that's only half of it. At the same time, Darcy makes sure Collins understands what happens if he refuses, not through a direct threat, through a quiet word in the right circles. Collins is a clergyman with social ambitions. His reputation in religious and aristocratic society is everything to him. If it becomes known that he threw a widow and her unmarried daughter out of their home, the home her husband lived in his entire life, that reputation is gone.
As a clergyman, moreover, I feel it my duty to promote and establish the blessing of peace in all families within the reach of my influence.
Every drawing room in London will know his name, and not in the way he wants. Collins is caught between Lady Catherine on one side and financial gain plus the threat of social ruin on the other. He takes the money. He always takes the money.
But you would need time as a family to...
gather your things.
Yourselves.
Together.
And Lady Catherine? She never suspects Darcy, because the offer came from Gardiner, a tradesman, someone Lady Catherine doesn't consider worth her attention or suspicion. In her world, Gardner is furniture, beneath notice, beneath competition. She sees Collins accepting money from a merchant family and assumes he's simply weak, which, to be fair, he is, but not in the way she thinks. Darcy used the same method with Lydia and Wickham. He tracked them down, paid the debts, funded the wedding, all through Gardner, all without leaving a trace. Elizabeth didn't know until much later. Lady Catherine never knew at all. This is who Darcy is. This is how he operates. The show's writers knew this. They just forgot to use it.
Mr. Darcy was at your wedding.
He was the one that discovered us. He paid for the wedding, Wickham's commission, everything. But don't tell anyone, he told me not to tell.
This isn't just a plot hole. It's a character problem. Austen never froze her characters. In her world, everyone is always in motion, always calculating, always responding according to who they fundamentally are. Darcy doesn't stop being Darcy because the camera isn't on him. The other Bennet sister treated the background characters as furniture, static, existing only to create the conditions for Mary's story. But that's not how Austen's world works. Every character in that universe has agency, even off-screen. The Darcy we know would have seen this coming before it became a crisis. He would have neutralized Collins quietly, protected Mrs. Bennet and Mary without either of them knowing ever, and made sure Lady Catherine had no idea he was involved. Instead, the show gives us a Darcy who watches his mother-in-law get thrown out of her home and says, "You can come stay with us." That's not Darcy. That's a stranger wearing Darcy's coat.
These are my sisters, Louisa, and this is Caroline. This is Mr. Hurst and Mr. Darcy.
The Other Bennet sister is worth watching. Mary's story is genuinely moving, and her arc is handled with real care. But the moment Collins walks into Longbourn and nobody stops him, not with money, not with pressure, not with the quiet, ruthless efficiency that defines Darcy's entire character, something breaks. Because the Darcy we know would have stopped him, before it became a problem, before Mary even knew there was one. Tell me in the comments, did this bother you when you watched it? Or is this the price you pay when a side character finally gets the spotlight? Everyone else has to step back. I'm Sana. This is Monica's Pie. Stay sharp. See you in the next one.